Hey friends, welcome back to my channel where today I'm starting a new week of video series. This is the series where I do an entire week of uploads using just one eyeshadow palette. My first week I did the Walhalla 2 palette from Juvia's Place. I will link the series playlist down below in the description box if you want to see them. But this week I'm going to be playing with the Norn's palette from Oden. This is the first palette that I bought from the brand, and I have sort of fallen out of love with it, and I'm hoping that forcing myself to use it for a whole week of looks will kind of get those creative juices going again. If you want to see how I did this mermaidy eyeshadow look, don't go anywhere. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Rachel. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I love to play with color. Color everything. Colorful eyeshadow is one of the ways I like to express my creativity, and this channel is all eyeshadow related content. So if you like what you see and you want to see more, I hope you'll subscribe before you leave. Now let's get going. Okay guys, I'm going to start by priming my eyes. I like to use the Glamlit Icing Primer. I have had this primer since the beginning of this year, so January, because I bought it as a Christmas gift for myself. And I've been using it 4 or 5 times a week, as you know, just as much as you've seen me apply just now, and I'm still not even nearly done the tube. So I definitely recommend the primer for its longevity, as far as how much use you get out of it, how much time you get out of it, but also because I think it works really well. I used to have issues with Beauty Bay shadows where they would crease on me like crazy, and the moment that I switched to the Glamlit primer, all of my creasing issues went away. And I have moderately oily skin, especially in, you know, the T-zone and my eyelids, and I have somewhat hooded eyes with a little bit of deep set. So I definitely do get creasing with the more emollient or putty-like shadows, and this primer has helped with that a lot. Now, for today's look, this is the first look I am doing using the Norn's palette. My goal is to fall back in love with this palette. I have it listed for sale, but I priced it high enough that it's not actually selling because I wanted to do this week of series, and I mean, I would love it if I fell back in love with it. I'm not sure. So to start off this look, I know that when I do this week of series, I want to use every shade in this bottom row because they're all either duo or multi-chromes, and they're so beautiful. They are the stars of this palette. And I don't want to be too on the nose, like too monochromatic. I like some contrast in my look. So for today, I'm trying to decide if I want to use this matte with some different shimmers or this shimmer with some more neutral mattes. And I think I'm going to go with the first option. So I am going to take a medium blending brush from e.l.f. This is round and kind of dense. And I'm going to start in the shade Outsider and put this just in my outer corner and tap it into my crease. Then I'm going to blend it out. I'm so torn about this palette because it's really beautiful. This is the first Oden palette that I bought, so I kind of have some memories with it because it was my eyeshadow Christmas, and it was from a Swedish indie brand, and it was so well reviewed, and it was just beautiful. I love the color story. I love the packaging. But I have since discovered that since this palette was launched, Oden has released other palettes that have a slightly better formula across the board. I don't know if they changed their formula or if they removed one of their formulas, because these two shades right here, this dark red and the dark brown, neither one of them performs well for me, and I know other people who have had issues with those colors as well. So I know it's not just me. Because of that, I find that I don't really use this palette that much. The other colors in it aren't super exciting as my eyeshadow preferences and style have developed. It's really just those 4 shimmers on the bottom that still get me excited. So I'm hoping to fall back in love with this palette, but if not, I'm gonna pass it on. I'm gonna declutter it. Now I'm going to take a smaller and more pinched blending brush. I'm gonna grab this shade Mist. This is a light purple matte. I want to see how this works to blend out this aqua turquoise tone. If it doesn't work well, then I'll do something else. But I want to put it on the edge and see how it might bring sort of a new color, but still be soft and light enough to blend out the tone. We'll see. It's certainly bringing a plummy kind of color to it. Now and then I hit the brush on I have a napkin here that I use as a color switch, so now and then I'll hit the brush on that napkin just to remove any product from the brush, and then go back to where I'm blending to keep working at it. Some shadows blend and blend out and do a wash of color really well. I like Oden. They're probably my favorite brand right now, and their shadows don't move around quite that easily. I have found that the best way to work with Oden is to place the color where you want it to be and then buff the edges. That way you can be precise about your placement but the colors don't move around so much that they all merge into one. Some shadows do that, and Oden's shadows do not do that. I'm also carrying this mist color onto my lower lash line. I'll probably deepen it further with that aqua tone as well, but right now I'm just carrying mist lower. With a larger blending brush, now I'm dipping into the shade Dazed. This is sort of a, I don't know, it's a weird gray-based kind of matte, but it's not very gray. I'm putting this on top of where I put mist to blend out the aqua color, just to bring in a little bit more space between my eyebrow and the shadows, because I don't like it when the shadows touch my brow. So I'm kind of putting this as a buffer against that. Yeah, that's worked nicely. Now I'll go back into mist with the same brush and just tap it into place to bring in that purple, but not as high. I carried the outsider color down into the lower lash line as well. I just pressed it against the outer corner of the lower lash line with a smudger brush. Now I've got a flat brush like this, and I think I want to take definitely, bless you, definitely one of these shadows. I think I want to start with the shade Self, and I'm going to spray this. This is a beautiful purpley toned shifty shade. I'm going to start this in my inner corner and lay this on the lid. I hope you guys can see this in the camera. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful purpley blue sort of multi-chrome. It's got a lot of silver in it as well. I'm going to put this on most of the lid space up to meet the mattes, but then I will flip my brush over and grab the shade Charming, which is more of a blue based as opposed to a purple based. And I'm just going to put Charming on dry to see how it performs. I'm going to put that between the purple and the tealy green color here. They're both super pretty, but I want the purple to be the main shade, so dip back into that and bring it over. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm trying to remember what looks I've done with this palette already. It's been a while since I used it. It really has. I've kept it all this time, even though I haven't used it, because of these gorgeous multi-chromes. And I feel like that's not a reason. It's not a good enough reason to keep a palette. Having it just to have it, in my opinion anyway, having it just to have it when you know you're not using it is just a waste of space. And for me, it takes up mental space too. It's just mental energy. I know that I own something which is not being used and has no real purpose. I mean, it's eyeshadow. We buy it because we like the colors and we want to put them on our eyes. So if I don't put it on my eyes, why do I have it? It's not like it's on display somewhere. Like, I know a lot of YouTubers have beautiful eyeshadow displays behind them, and this could totally be on display somewhere. It's lovely. At least that brings a little bit of purpose to it if it's not being used actively. But my palettes are all tucked in a cupboard, and that's just where they live right now. So the fact that I would have it and keep it for these beautiful tones but then not use it is kind of a waste. And I would rather sell it to somebody who's going to use it and really enjoy it. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm kind of hoping to fall back in love with it because I really like the color story, but I need to use it. Otherwise its existence in my collection cannot be justified. I want to deepen this outer corner a little bit, so I'm going to take the same brush that I used to begin with. I'm going to go into the shade, what is it called? Colorful Black. And just put this at the outer corner to deepen up this teal tone a bit. I don't know if you can hear my baby. She's upstairs fussing. She's supposed to be napping. I know she's tired enough. She's just not doing it. So I'm going to finish this eye and then go up and check her diaper. Maybe she made a diaper for me and that could be keeping her from sleeping. But first I've got the shade Self, and I'm going to put that on my lower lash line. I think I'll leave the very inner corner for a highlight shade. I want Self on the rest of the lower lash line, I think. This is not the best brush. Let me use a better brush for that. A much smaller flat brush. That's better. I felt like I was putting most of the shadow into my eye and not onto my eye. I love the reflects that Oden's eyeshadows offer. I just feel like they're so unique. I mean, I don't have a ton of experience. I'm sorry if the mirror's in your face. I don't have a ton of experience with the indie brands and the really amazing multi-chromatic shadows. But I have tried a few, and they're so striking. But there's just something about Oden's eye that, for me anyway, is an extra level of sparkle. It's just, I don't know if it's such finely milled sparkle. I always compare it to pixie dust or fairy dust. It's like this little blanket of high shine glitter, but it's not really metallic. It's not really wet looking like so many of the more popular shimmers are. They're beautiful, but Oden's Eye doesn't offer that kind of sparkle. It's just a different, I don't know, it's a different level of sparkle. This is so pretty. Okay, now I'm going to take this same blending brush that I just used. I've color switched it, and I'm going to go into Pink Chameleon, which is like a white matte, but it's, if I remember correctly, it's got some pink and some green in it as well, so it's more opalescent. I'm gonna spray it. In case you don't know, I always spray my shimmers. I just use whatever setting spray I have. I get e.l.f. setting spray at the grocery store. Low maintenance. But I spray my shimmers because they offer me some, ooh. I spray my shimmers because they offer me extra shine and precision in application. And it usually helps control the fallout as well. So if you've done your face makeup first, and I don't really do much for my face makeup, but if you do your face makeup first and you don't like to get fallout, spraying your shimmers can help a lot with that because it helps them stick to the brush as opposed to dropping onto your cheeks. That's really lovely. Okay. I'm liking that look. I think that's pretty. I don't know what I'm going to do in my waterline, but I will figure that out and I'll let you know in a hot second when I come back to show you the end result. Okay, here we are. Here's the final look. I lined my eyes, but I didn't do a black winged eyeliner. On the waterline, I used a dark green. This is the shade Canopy from ColourPop. I think it was from their Lush Live series. It's kind of hard to see, but I wanted to bring a little bit of green into the look, and I think it's pretty. On my lips, I'm wearing the shade Cranberry Pie from NYX Butter Gloss. I have this shade from Nomad as a highlighter, which is a beautiful, beautiful bluey, purpley sort of match to this mermaid vibe look that I've got going on. And I'm wearing the Tulum palette as a little bit of bronzer, BH Cosmetics, and that's everything. I think the look is really pretty. I need to go back and see what I did the last few times I've used this palette because it's been a while, and I know that some of the shades that I used today, they're the ones that always draw me in, so I'm confident that I've used them before, possibly together, and I want to see what that looks like. I might not enjoy it, but I want to see it. So if I find it, I'll put it up in the screen so you guys can see too, because I'm simply curious. I do know for sure that for the rest of this week of Norn's palette, I'm not going to be using all those shades again. I'm going to be branching into other colors and other color combinations. I'm really excited to play with this palette now. And final thoughts as far as today goes, if I feel this positive about all the looks that I get from this palette, there's a really good chance that I won't declutter it and that I'll just keep it because it's quite beautiful. I think it's just those two shades that have me going, you know, but two shades in a larger palette are not that big of a deal. Of course, I want everything to perform perfectly, but it's not old enough to be expiring. It's just a matter of, I think, the formula. And anyway, we'll see how the rest of the week goes, but I thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to subscribe if you want to see the rest of the looks using the Norn's palette. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of them. I hope you liked the video, and until I see you guys on my next one, I hope you have a great day. Bye!